G'day and welcome to the Investor Motivation Podcast. My name's Rob Gowdy, and today I've got my business partner Ashley, who's a bit of an expert in aged care and retirement planning. How are you, Ash?
Good, thanks, Rob. What about yourself?
Yeah, going very well. So Friday morning, and you've had a busy week, I hear.
Yeah, been busy. It's the weekends come by pretty quick though, mate. So looking forward to a break like we probably all are.
Yep, and a lot of your inquiries over the last couple of weeks have been obviously all to do with the aged care changes and obviously the nursing home changes. And obviously today we're going to be extending that conversation from aged care, which obviously for those who want to catch up, we did a podcast and a session a couple of weeks ago. But today we're going to be talking about what the government's doing to keep people at home.
Yeah, so November 1, like we had a chat in the last podcast, Rob, the introduction of a lot of changes both in residential aged care, but also home care packages. So that's what we're chatting about today. But
Yeah.
there's lots of confusion out there, lots of questions coming through.
Yeah. And what's the government ultimately trying to do, obviously, with these obviously changes to aged care and then the changes to the home care packages? What's the thought process there? Is that just trying to keep people at home for longer because there's a shortage of beds, or
It's my understanding that rather than pumping all that money into infrastructure and building new residential aged care facilities, they'd rather allocate that the same funding to build the workforce out, to keep people at home, and to bring the care and support at home where someone already lives in it, whereas someone's already comfortable.
right? Yeah, and makes sense probably from a the person needing the care. More than likely, the place that we want to be when we're not in our best shape is at home, isn't it? Rather than some strange foreign facility.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. And yeah, it definitely works, particularly if you've got family and friends or someone else can provide that informal care
Yeah.
close by. So to keep, mum or dad or a loved one at home, yeah, it makes perfect sense as long as the care can get brought there as well.
Yeah, and that's an excellent point. This is a team effort between the services provided by obviously the rules, the government, the local councils in your area, and family to help people keep them at home for as long as possible. Because obviously, no doubt that's where people would prefer to be, where it's appropriate.
Geez, I think I read a number years ago, Rob, that the value of informal care, so providing support for your family or a loved one, is worth billions, and that just cannot be replaced by government to bring in nurses and other professionals in. So that's invaluable. So we want to keep that support there for the elderly and individuals who require that, and yeah, no better place than home to bring that.
Good. All right, let's start off with what type of services are provided to help keep people at home.
Well, with care support packages, it can provide help with meals, cleaning, transport, home maintenance or modifications. You may need to put railings through the house or fit out showers or baths, whatever that may be, and also to help with daily tasks. So that's essentially to allow you to continue to be comfortable at home. And then once the care needs increase, providing that care support, whether that's help with medication or dressings or whatever that may be, just to make you comfortable at home.
Right, so it can be the outside, it can be the gutters and the lawns and the garden, and all the way through to getting renovations done to make obviously the bathroom where there's no steps and less slip and rails to hold on to. They will help with that, in addition to what we all have known as and volunteered for Meals on Wheels.
Yeah, exactly right. And what we found is you generally don't need the level of home care packages at the highest level first. You'll transition as your care needs increase. So where you may need a bit of help, sort of with the gardening and getting the leaves out of gutters, and maybe a bit of help with grocery shopping, whatever. As you get older, your care needs increase, and where you get more help, maybe showering or preparing meals or being more comfortable.
Right, and who's in charge of providing these services, Ash? What's the is are we off to Centrelink to find out what to do here, like we did with age pension, or obviously an age sorry, nursing home application for aged care? Is this are we walking to Centrelink or are we going to the local council?
Yeah, I've got a bit of a process here, mate. If I can
Yep.
shift my attention this way. The step number one is you contact My Aged Care. So you can, that's a phone call or jump online and to express some interest. That's your starting point, and then an assessment of your care needs will be completed by medical professionals. That generally takes about 6 to 8 weeks, a bit of a waiting period there. Once you've been assessed and you've been approved to be eligible for these care packages, because not everyone's eligible based on care needs, then you'll get the sign off on that, and then you've got to go out and explore. You'll research the providers who will help, essentially like a case manager. Say, hey, I've got funding, I've been approved for this level of package. Will you take me on as a client and help me choose the services that I need? And they're going to build a support package around your needs.
Right. And these providers, support providers, these are all the Just Better Care or any number of these businesses out there that are providing these services, cleaners, healthcare, and so on. And so you get a caseworker that will then manage your house, yourself, and put you in contact with the providers, the actual people that will come and do the work.
Yeah, so they would have no doubt relationships or contacts with those individuals in those specialty areas. So if you need help with a certain aspect of your day to day, they've got someone to fill that spot.
Right.
So it could be the gardeners or maintenance or whatever it may be.
Yep. And you said there was obviously you go through My Aged Care, and then it'll be probably a long, inefficient, drawn out process, and probably a frustrating process because no doubt when people have the need is today, not in 8 weeks' time or however long it takes to get in contact. Can people, that just say, look, I need this now, and we've got the funding to do it. Can you just go to these service providers and say, no, don't worry about all the rest, the family will just pay?
Yeah, I can give you some numbers here, mate. On average, it takes up to 15 months for you to begin expressing your interest and applying via My Aged Care to the service actually being delivered through your front door. So on average, 15 months. Now they're trying to bring that time frame down. So it's important that we don't wait till care needs become serious and we get the ball rolling, start that conversation very early on. But in the meantime, while we're waiting, there's nothing stopping that individual, as long as services are available, to go out
Yes.
and hire someone directly.
Right. And what you mean?
That's your other option.
Yeah. What you mean by service are available, as in the physical person is there to come round to do the job.
Yeah, you have to get, if it's a gardener you need, or if you haven't got the family support to do the day-to-day bit of maintenance or help with shopping or whatever it may be, there might be someone out there who can fill that
Yeah.
role. Yeah.
Yep. So a fallback position for that time where the need might be high, and you've got this long drawn out, frustrating process working with the government department and then semi-government departments before you get to the contractors. You can just go to the contractor and say, "Hey, need some help." Would this be? Would this also include? It may not be one you're able to answer, Ash, but I suppose nursing care at home where you have a qualified healthcare professional to come in and help with some services. Is that is that achievable?
That's what they're essentially trying to do, Rob. They're trying to replicate the care that you would receive in a nursing home or residential aged care facility, but at home.
Yep.
So that's when your care needs are heightened to the point where you might be on the most expensive, the amount of funding home care package, where you've got a nurse coming in to your home and looking after you in that respect. Now, out in the country area, like where we are in Horsham, we may not be spoiled for choice with that sort of service to actually come home, but perhaps in more city areas, there's those offerings potentially.
Right. Very good. Thanks, Ash. Now, obviously, 1st of July, we saw all the changes with regards to aged care funding, and obviously things just got more expensive. What's happened in this space for where we what it's called support at home, where we're trying to keep people in their own homes and where they want to be for as long as possible.
Yeah,
What's the changes in that space?
so you hit the nail on the head with that one. The first one, the terminology from home care packages has changed. Now it's called support at home. So that's the new word for that. Your contribution towards your ongoing costs, so similar to residential aged care, where you've been asked to contribute a bit more from your end, The same will happen with home care packages. So there's a means test, which it always has been for home care packages. There was a sort of basic daily fee, which was pretty inexpensive, but then they will do an income test as well to work out, okay, what's your additional contribution. Now that means test is continued moving forward, but they're actually going to capture income and assets. So where you've had, let's say as an example, you've got a vacant block of land, it's a property, but you're not generating any income. Previously, that wasn't going to be contributed to your means testing, but now it will be. So essentially, your contribution's set to go up. The way they calculate those fees has changed. They've broken up into three components, which I'll read out now. There's a clinical care component, there's an independent support, and there's an everyday living, whereas previously we didn't have those distinctions. And so there's different percentages based on that. We won't go into complexities, but that's how they're going to look at that. But the good point, I think, for those who are already receiving home care packages, they'll have some grandfathered rules, so they won't be interrupted. And they're bringing in a sort of a comment or terminology to say you're no worse off under the new rules if you're already getting home care packages.
Okay.
So your fees won't become more expensive. It's probably just for the new people going onto these packages where they may be asked to contribute more.
Okay. And Ash, in those three segments there, I heard critical and then I heard basic daily or care. Clearly, obviously, there is a distinction between the services provided to go and, to go in and do something that is provided by a qualified healthcare professional, a nurse, and someone that's going in to clean the bathrooms and kitchen. Obviously, there's a higher percentage in contribution from the household, from the recipient.
Yeah. Do you want me to chuck you some numbers?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's give you some numbers. Okay, the three components. Okay, we kick it off with clinical care. So this is when you go see your case manager, right? And you have that discussion, say, hey, my name's so and so. I need this help doing this, this, and this, and they'll break it down into all those three different components, and you'll get your funding. And to give you an example, a level 4 package is worth $30,000. So they say, okay, well, you've got $30,000 per year budget. Break it down into monthly amounts. Okay, where do you want to allocate this funding? So you'll have that conversation, work out what your needs are. If any of that goes down to clinical care, so replacing the care that you will get in a nursing home or a hospital but at home, there's no personal contribution to that. The government funding will take care of that component. So as an example, if you had $30,000 and it was all spent on clinical care, you would have no contribution towards that. But that's generally not the case because you'll break it up into the other segments as well.
Yep.
So for full pensioners or for self-funded retirees, there's no contribution towards clinical care. Then we move on to independent support. This is where we do get a bit of contribution. So for full pensioners, the maximum contribution for independent support is 5%. So if you
5% of their pension.
5% of the total cost. So as an example, if you allocate, let's say, $10,000 in towards independent support, your contribution being 5%. What's that, Rob? Is that $500? You'll pay $500 per year as a contribution towards that. The other component is everyday living. That's when a full pensioner would be charged 17.5% of the total cost there. So there's really it's huge discount rates. Everything else is funded by the government. So your contribution is absolutely marginal.
And obviously it was exactly the reverse to what I suggested. But they're trying to, the more critical care that obviously is provided is them saying, look, we'll provide this, please stay at home, so you're not using the infrastructure and the system that's battling already with lack of beds.
Correct.
Yeah.
For reference to and out of interest, self-funded retirees, so that's individuals not entitled to an age pension, their contribution to independent support is going to be 50%. So you still get half covered by the government, but half's going to be covered by you. So let's say, obviously 50%, this is an easy calculation for everyone, but if you got $20,000 funding in that, you'll contribute 10 grand.
Right, okay. And that's fully self-funded, so no age pension, no healthcare. So does a Commonwealth Seniors Health Card help with that at all, or is that completely separate again? And again, might be too early for you to comment on as well.
Oh, that'll be separate again. This is just all attributed to your means.
Right.
So this is when you become eligible for a supported home package. You've got to disclose your income and assets, and you can elect not to, but you're going to be charged the high levels, and these are the high levels I talk about. Um,
So,
and just on that, sorry, Rob, the everyday living. Sorry to interrupt. Everyday living is up to 80% of the cost for self-funded retirees. Now, if you're eligible for some form of pension, such as the age pension, you get a reduction based between the lowest and the highest amounts there, but it's based on your income and assets. So there's a means
okay.
test that they'll do.
Right. So just if you get yourself a little bit of age pension doesn't automatically mean you get the lowest amount. It's still tested assets and income.
Yeah, so we can, as advisors, mate, when we're trying to add value for clients, we can look at different strategies, ownership structures or asset reduction strategies. That there is some input we can have towards lowering ongoing fees. But at the end of the day, they're not significant motivators for us. We've got to make sure that our clients can afford, and we're generating lots of cash flow to help pay for this.
Yeah, liquidity is important, and yeah, having the means to pay. Obviously, we hear lots of people saying we've got to divest everything and give everything away to the next generation can be a dangerous strategy, particularly at a time when the care is needed because of deprivation rules.
Yeah, just touching on that. Yeah, this is a question I get asked quite frequently. Like, should I get rid of everything so I get the full age pension and pay nothing when it comes to residential aged care or home care? Um, Whilst you can do that, you're forgoing a quality lifestyle in your own retirement. Two, you just don't know when your care needs are going to be there because it generally happens pretty quickly, maybe after a fall or something like that. And number three, if you need care within that 5-year period after giving away everything, well, Centrelink still consider that it's your asset. And they're still going to means test against that. And all of a sudden, you've given it to the son and daughter who may put it on their mortgage and have got no capacity to give it back to help you fund care. So lots of traps when it comes to that. My preferred way for most people is essentially, be conscious of what future care costs may be, but enjoy your retirement in the meantime. It's all about setting expectations that, okay, well, it is going to cost money, but hey, you can afford it, and this is how we're going to fund it. So to give some of that peace of mind, because it is scary. We're talking about different thresholds and different calculations, and residential aged care, which we touched on last time. They're going to ask for refundable accommodation deposits worth in excess, on average, of 500 grand. Now, that's a scary number. Thankfully, there's
Okay.
no deposits when it comes to home care packages.
Yeah, and if someone doesn't have that money, it's and you're paying the interest rate on what you can't pay for the bond, this means that it could be more expensive at the other end if you've attempted to give it all away, and the kids aren't there to say, oh yeah, by the way, mum or dad, here is the money back. Generally, that's not going to be the case. It's going to be spent in some shape or form.
Yeah, if you're going to go down that path and give all your assets away just to sort of work the system and get more Centrelink benefits, pay less care fees, it's a risky strategy. Obviously, you're allowed to do that. There's nothing stopping
Yeah,
you from giving away any assets. You just got to understand, okay, what are the consequences? There's transaction fees, it could be
yeah.
brokerage, it could be stamp duty if you're passing on property, and there could be loss of Centrelink benefits along the way.
Lost capital
So
gains and more expensive down the track.
all that. So yeah, definitely reach out to accountant, advisor, solicitor. Make sure you make your inquiries before going down this path.
Yeah, yeah. Needs to be very measured, and yeah, as I've always said for the last 20 years, when it comes to aged care, you're best to have zero or a lot, and if you've got a lot and you can afford, yeah, that you are in the best place to get the bed that you want when you need, and I can nearly guarantee when we get to that stage of life, whether it's home care, a supported home, or an aged care facility, you'll just want to be comfortable, well fed, and clean.
Yeah, and to give your listeners a bit of number on either a lot or a little, the numbers I would say a little is anything below 200 grand. You've got
Yeah,
discounted rates of care fees. A lot's probably in excess of maybe 500 or in excess of $600,000. It's that between 2 and 500 zone. It's risky. So
yeah.
your ongoing
That's it.
fees are like
Okay, that's including the home ash.
I case by case. There's complexity. Sometimes a home can be exempt when you've got a partner still alive and all that sort
Yes.
of thing. But if you've got assets which can be redeemed, and if you're somewhere between that 2 and 500 mark, um, the chances are that your ability to fund cover your ongoing costs without drawing down a significant rate of capital over the years, it's quite minimal. So it's a bit of a risky one.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Ash. You've highlighted the need for advice, particularly in aged care, but obviously if it's about support at home to keep people in their own homes where they generally want to be, the things have changed there as well, but getting within the system early sounds like it's really, really important, because there's just a huge lag time between applying and getting services. So you don't leave this till the need is dire.
Yeah, probably the key takeaway out here, as you said, start early, begin that conversation, contact My Aged Care. It doesn't cost anything to begin that conversation. And then once you become eligible, after that assessment, go find a package provider or a care provider that works for you. That's a good fit. There's lots out there at the moment. Horsham, over the past probably 5 to 10 years, Rob, we would have noticed them spread up everywhere. So there's lots of providers out there. Just making sure you get good value for money, understand their fee structures and what you're getting back from your funding. I've had a couple of cases where the client's gone, geez, that the self-funded retirees in some of these instances, Rob, where they've gone, okay, well, the amount of my contribution, I'm not seeing great value for money. It's an interesting conversation, even though you're getting a lot of government support. They're saying, well, my contribution towards this package is high. I may as well go and hire that individual to come out my lawns directly, because I can probably save some money. So you do your research, have the conversations, and then you can make sort of informed decisions thereafter.
Yeah, great idea. And that was the one thought I had, for those that go through the process of a frustrating, long-winded, time-consuming process, and you've got the means, just go and get the support you need straight off the bat when you need it, and that'll hopefully promote longevity at home where people want to be.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ash. Really appreciate the chat and the time. And please remember, this is general advice. Now, Ash, you are on Instagram and TikTok, pretty active on both those platforms. So, and people can feel free to ask a question there. Ash, are you getting a few fake accounts that people need to be careful of as well, particularly within TikTok?
Yeah, what I've noticed, TikTok especially, they'll go grab your picture, they'll go download some of your videos, and they'll go to replicate your profile. You're probably the same, Rob. We don't reach out to anyone directly. Yes, I'll answer questions, but you reach out to me first. So that's probably a way to tell us apart.
Yeah. Good. The key point there is we will never direct message anyone initially. We obviously feel free to message us if you've got questions, but we will never reach out to you, and we'll definitely not be talking about cryptocurrency or anything like that. Highly likely, 100% a scam. Thanks, Ash. And for anyone that's listening, please, if you've got a topic you'd like us to cover, please let us know. We'd happily research that and do a deep dive into that topic. And thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you at the next session. Cheers. Thanks, Ash, and thanks everyone.
Thanks, Rob.